Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is Monday. Yes, it's Monday, June the 12th, 2023. And today the topic is hide and seek. Happy Monday, y'all. I hope that you guys had a wonderful weekend. Mine was just fine. Mine was just fine, y'all. I was thinking that I am going to dedicate today's juice to my sister. Yes, my baby cake. You know, Miss Ankle Phlebotomy herself and everything like that. Y'all, listen. She gave me the go ahead to share a little bit of this testimony. So I hope that it would encourage you and inspire you and everything like that. So as I tell you all about my weekend, I have to fill in some blanks and gaps for y'all. So those of y'all that tune in on Saturday, y'all may have noticed that my countenance probably was a little bit different. I'll put it like that. And and that was for several reasons. Basically, what I didn't tell y'all was there was some stuff going on. Some stuff going on behind the scenes. Long story short, y'all know that we celebrated my dad on Friday and whatnot. The family, we went out for crabs and whatnot, and had a good time. We came on home and we pretty much all kind of knocked out. I mean, I did think about to check on my family, be like, hey, y'all made it home. But next thing I know, I was asleep, right? And so I woke up the next morning. It was time for the juice, everything like that. And one of the first things I see on social media, my sister had posted, it was like a wrist with a one of them hospital tags on it. And I'm like, whose hand is this? I'm like, is this mama? Is this her? Who is this? On her post, she's like, I'm not where I want to be right now or something. I'm like, huh? Or the last place I want to be or something. I'm like, what is going on? So I text them like, hey, I saw the Instagram. What's going on? Long story short, I come to find out that apparently after we left the restaurant, they went straight to the hospital. Like, I know while we was there at the restaurant, she wasn't feeling so well, my sister. She was saying that, like, her chest and whatnot. I don't want to get into too many details or whatever, because this is her testimony to share in its entirety, but I do want to share some aspects of it, right? So she tells me I got her chest hurt and stuff, and I was kind of praying for her while we was in her presence and whatnot. But she's been talking about different things about her body a lot lately, like her back and stuff. I know she does hair and her hand, you know what I'm saying? So it's not uncommon to hear her talk about something maybe hurting or whatever. But on the flip side, when she was mentioning her chest, I was just like, well, trying to pray X, Y, and Z. I didn't know it was that deep. And so to wake up the next morning and see, I definitely felt the conviction, because I just was like, dang, I know the Lord was like, check and see if they made it home. But next thing I know, I was asleep and I just forgot to do it or whatever the case was. And I was like, I should have been like, hey, y'all made it home, and I would have known or whatever. But apparently they was at the hospital. Even by the time I reached out to her that morning, they was talking about they was still there. She hadn't been seen. It was a whole thing to me. I'm like, what? So I was like, do I need to come down there? They kept saying no. And I'm just like, well, Lord, like, X, Y, and Z. So by the time y'all saw me, I was just getting that news, and I went on ahead and did the juice anyway. But still, you know what I mean? That obviously that was on my heart and mind as well. But anyway, so again, without getting into all the details, I'm like, well, what's going on? And so by the time they finally gave me some information about what was going on, trying to think how much to share here. Well, I feel part of this is important, so I'll share this part, and hopefully she don't mind. Basically, one of the things, I guess they must have done a blood test or something, and they were saying that there was some fluid on her lungs. And I go look that up, because I don't know what people is talking about when they say, what does this mean? How does this happen? I'm trying to look stuff up, and that don't sound good. Like and I know that's probably what you should not do, go Google stuff, because then when you go Google it, it tells you all this bad stuff. And so when I'm seeing something about like fluid being on your lungs and all this type of stuff, it's like, it's not looking good. Like, it looks like this is I mean, for me to lack a better way to say it, like a life or death situation for that to happen. And I don't know if anyone's experienced that or whatever. But again, so I'm looking this stuff up, and I'm talking to my husband about it when I got the news, whatever, or after I did the juice, I was like, husband, I need you to pray, X, Y, and Z. We was praying. And he was like, look, stop looking, stop getting upset, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on, like what is happening, because I mean, my sister is definitely, I mean, it's crazy. Her business is called Anchor. Like, she's definitely an anchor of the family. Like, I don't know if when grandma on my dad's side, or my stepfather in particular, so y'all know who I'm talking about. On his side, well, I call him dad, I call my father, so hopefully y'all got it by now. But anyway, so on my dad's side, when his mother passed, I don't know if she took that anchor or what, I don't know, but or took on that responsibility in some ways, but it feels like that sometimes, and I know I commend her all the time. I'm like, sis, you on the front lines when it comes to the family, and stuff like that. And on top of this, I mean, I think y'all know already, it's not a surprise or a secret. I mean, she's also a single mother, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's doing a lot of things. She got several entrepreneurial endeavors. She's a single mom. And on top of that, she's like the anchor of the family, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a lot. She's doing a lot, and honestly, she needs to rest or whatever. And I know that's probably like part of it as well. Like, she needs help and stuff. And I mean, how can I say? I think we all might have. I just put it like this: we all might have a little bit of a thing about asking for help. Like, I don't too much ask for help. I mean, the most help I ask for probably is like to my husband or maybe some close friends or something like that, if it really comes down to me actually needing help with something. But for the most part, we try to do things ourselves. Like, I don't know if it was just instilled in us or whatever, but and that's good. That's a good trait to have. But at the same time, when you taking on so much, like, I've learned the value of outsourcing. You know what I'm saying? I do it with GSL and everything, and it's made my whole thing a lot more smooth. But anywho, so I guess, sister, you got to start outsourcing, sister. I don't know if you're listening to the sound of my voice, got to start outsourcing a little bit more when it comes to different things or whatnot. Because we can't take on everything. So anywho, so we get that news that it might be fluid on the lung, whatever the case is. So I'm praying, I'm doing my thing. I know mama down there praying, basically everybody was still with her. So mom, dad, and my niece was still with her and all that and stuff. So she had them, but at the same time, I'm like, man, listen, if y'all don't tell me something, I'm driving down there. So y'all need to keep me informed of what's going on. If not, I'm driving down there. And so I'm praying and stuff. And my husband was like, stop looking at the stuff. Stop looking at, symptoms. Stop looking at that. You make yourself upset. I'm like, all right. So I humble myself in submission to what my husband was saying. And he's right in regards to, because it was like every time I was looking up something, I'm like, it's saying that this is life or death. This saying is this. And then this scan or whatever, they was going to do some other tests. I'm like, what is this they about to do? And then I'm like, well, what can you do to get that out or whatever the case is? And I'm seeing stuff about, like, I guess that maybe there's like a syringe that they can get fluid out your body or something. But then I'm like, she might need a surgery. I'm like, what is going on? Like, this is crazy. So anywho, I'm praying, X, Y, and Z. So then I start communicating with mom because I didn't want to keep asking her questions. I'm like, so what's going on? Da, da, da. So I started communicating with mom. So mom was letting me know what's going on. So she let me know what happened with what they were telling her. And then about the test, whatever the case is, she was like, oh, she's resting now. Da, da, da. So then later on, a few hours later, y'all, a few hours later, mom tells me that they did the test, and they was on their way home. She was going to plan on getting some rest, X, Y, and Z. They did the test. They gave her some medicine, X, Y, and Z. But whatever they was talking about with the fluid on the lungs was not found in the second test. So you listen, y'all. All I'm saying is, I had to come tell y'all this morning because at the end of the day, like, you can get a report, and then that report can be non-valid in a matter of hours or however much time, based on, I believe, faith and everything like that. I ain't trying to say it ain't had nothing to do with it. All I know is I'm praying. I'm sure mama praying. I'm sure everybody praying. So at the end of the day, I feel like the Lord answered our prayers, and that thing got turned around same day. I know she's been resting and whatnot and stuff. But to God be the glory. I was so happy to get that news Saturday. Try to stay strong, what I'm saying? Not try to cry with it. But even when I got the news, I was like, to God be the glory, because I'm like, man, like, to get such a, I don't know. See, you just never know about like the medical field and whatnot. Like, there's just so much with that. Because on one hand, you get like they told my mother that she would never be able to have kids, and here I am, and here my sister is. You know what I'm saying? So God do what He want to do at the end of the day, and so I'm just glad to get that report. So I had to share that testimony with you guys, especially if somebody's, you might need a quick turnaround on something or whatever. Put some prayer on it. That's all I'm saying. Put some prayer on it, y'all. So to God be the glory for that, y'all. Y'all keep my sister in prayer. If you pray to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, keep my sister in prayer and whatnot. Let's pray more for her outsourcing and getting rest and things of that nature. And yeah, so that's what happened over the weekend in regards to that. That was what's pretty much Saturday looked like. I mean, we was mostly home and stuff. I was actually, she set me up, I think, with one of my next book clients. she referred me to one of her friends that's looking to make a book or whatever, and we were talking on Saturday as well. So that was really cool. And stuff. She seems very excited about, embarking on this journey of becoming an author. And I'm like, hey, I'm glad to be in a position to assist. And yeah, so that's another thing that happened on Saturday. Sunday, y'all know I went to church. I was working. I worked all 3 services. It was kids' baptism yesterday. We had baptism in our room and whatnot. Two children got baptized, 1 girl, 1 boy. And beautiful moment as well, and everything. Look, next week, y'all, I don't know, man. Listen, y'all be praying for your girl, you know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be all on me, because one of the lady that I work under, she's gonna be out of town, and so it's gonna be on me to run things, you know what I'm saying? So on one hand, not to say I'm nervous, but I'm just like, I just want to make sure it all goes well, with it being my first time to really, really run it by myself or whatever. But on the flip side, I know my husband was giving me that pep talk last night or whatever, like, you got this, don't worry about it, you've done this before, you do this, and I'm like, I know, but it's just, I guess it's different when, you're embarking on you're working with a new company, I guess you would say, and then like, and you want to make sure you do everything according to what they want, and you know what I mean? So anyway, and then actually, I'm talking to y'all about next weekend, man, but I also have the new custom show that got booked last month will be performed this Saturday, if the Lord's will. So hey, man, good stuff coming up around the corner and whatnot. Y'all know Father's Day is around the corner as well, so a lot of stuff going on. But anyway, let's get into this thing about hide and seek, y'all. Let's get into this hide and seek conversation. Because yeah. I mean, I guess the Lord got something to say through little old me this morning. All right. So, I mean, listen, there's a few things, I guess, that led me to hide and seek this morning. I want to say partially it was because of the time that I woke up. I did not write down the time. So my apologies for that. Or it's in my thing, but it's on my other device that I'm using to record the audio. So, yes, I woke up around like 4:30. 31, something like that. And so I looked that up in Strong's, as well as I looked it up Bible, I Google Bible in whatever time. And I want to say, like, whatever the Greek or Hebrew was for like find God, I feel like that's what it, like, when I looked up the definitions or the translations of those things that came up with the Strong's, I feel like find God I came to find God. And so as I was looking up that, it led me to ultimately, thinking about it, as well as just, I guess allowing the Lord to speak to me this morning. He gave me hide and seek. And so as I started to look up hide and seek, I got the confirmation to move forward. And so here we are, talking about hide and seek, y'all. So that's where the inspiration came from this morning. Y'all know what I did, right? I ended up looking up the definitions of both hide and seek. So this is what we got, y'all. When you look up the definition of hide, it says put or keep out of sight, conceal from the view or notice of others. All right. And then the word seek says attempt to find something, attempt or desire to obtain or achieve something, ask for something. And then it says from someone. And then when I looked up a biblical definition of seek, it said to search out by any method. And then the Greek for that said seek to find. So Yeah, I know I just said a lot right there. I mean, though, and that's just the definitions. But yeah, just things to think about and marinate on as we think about these words, hide and seek. The interesting thing is, as I was thinking about the word hide, I just kept thinking about, like, we can't hide from God. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something we can't do. Like, we can hide our true intentions and whatnot from each other. We can hide, we can try to hide from God, but at the end of the day, He sees all, He knows all. We can't hide from the Lord. So I was thinking that perhaps, the conversation would be about that. But as I started to look up the Bible verses centered around the word hide and things like that, I mean, there was a different perspective being shown to me this morning. So I'm going to share that different perspective. Y'all know usually where I go for my Bible verses. And if you don't know, I go to openbible.info, usually, and things like that. So here are some of the verses that stood out to me to share in reference to hide. All right. So Psalm 64:2, it says, hide me from the secret plots of the wicked, from the throng of evil doers. So already you can see that there's a different perspective in regards to the word hide. It's not about hiding from the Lord or anything like that. It's more so about asking the Lord to hide you. I guess this is what the Bible is reiterating that we should do. In reference to hide, we should, instead of hiding from the Lord, we need to be hiding in the Lord, is what I'm receiving this morning. But hey, don't just take that one verse for it. Here go Psalm 143:9. It says, deliver me from my enemies, O Lord. I have fled to you for refuge. So there you go, a direct, in case we was wondering, like, that first verse would have been like, well, who is that person talking to? Well, the second verse is letting us know who that person's talking to. It's saying, oh Lord. And then it says, I have fled to you for refuge. Yeah, I mean, here's another verse in reference to hide as well. It's Psalm 17:8. It says, keep me as the apple of your eye, hide me in the shadow of your wings. So, yeah, I mean, those are the three verses that stood out to me in reference to hide. I mean, there's a couple more that are in the Go Deeper section that you all can use to peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. But I mean, ultimately, again, like, instead of hiding from the Lord, hide in the Lord. Instead of, trying to push yourself away or pull away, find safety, refuge, and peace and all those things in Him. No wonder there's this separation, right? There's this attempt to separate us from God, because there lies our safety, there lies our peace, and all those different things. So, be a rebel. You know what I'm saying? Be a rebel. And go against the grain. The world is wanting to tell us, oh, hide from the Lord, you don't need the Lord, whatever. Let's run towards Him instead, and seek Him to be our shelter and everything like that. So that's what I'm receiving this morning. Now we got seek. Speaking of, right? Speaking of, I mean, I guess if we're going to hide in Him, we got to seek Him, right? We got to know Him and everything like that. So here go the verses centered around seek. All right. We got Jeremiah 29:13. It says, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. So yeah, man, that's how you're going to find Him at the end of the day. Again, you could try to fake and pretend and all that type of stuff, but I mean, the Lord knows, man. I've been feel like that's being reiterated over the past week or so. It's like, God knows the real from the fake, and yeah, there's things in place where, okay, if you attempt to seek Him in any aspect, I'm sure you will find Him. But like, to really, really get to know the Lord, you have to do it with your whole heart. Again, come maybe wholeheartedly, right, to Him and things like that. And you'll get to experience Him on another level, basically. At least that's what I find in life. Now let's keep going, y'all. We got Matthew 6:33. It says, but seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Listen, I'm a living witness, y'all. The more I seek the Lord, the more every aspect of my dreams, goals, and whatnot has come to fruition. All while I was out there trying to seek other things and do things on my own and all this type of stuff, I just found myself further and further not at peace, mentally just disturbed, like all these different things that can happen when you're tearing yourself away from the Lord, but then you're trying to go for other things that it just don't work out. And I think a lot of people have that testimony. It's not just me. I mean, I feel like we all go through that journey of like, oh, I'll do this on my own, da 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 da, and then you find yourself like, man, this ain't even what I expected, or this isn't whatever. I don't know what people feel about each and every thing that you go through, but I just know, for example, when it came to me and different things, like the more I was reaching and pulling and whatnot, that even when I achieved certain things, there still wasn't satisfaction, there still wasn't contentment, there still wasn't, again, the peace and joy and whatnot that I feel today. And I feel like in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm doing less. Well, I mean, I feel like I'm doing a lot, but at the same time, I feel like I'm doing less than before. Like it's in regards to the, I mean, what just came in my mind was rat race, but like, yeah, like the whole like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like running in a marathon or something, and then you're like trying to, get in where you fit in, da, 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 versus like a path being made for you, and you just, not even running really. You're just walking along, and you're walking along in peace, like, okay. And then you get some stumbling blocks, and you'll get some things in your way. You be like, oh wait. But even as you go through that stuff, it still is just, I don't know how to explain the side of that, y'all. I hope y'all are getting it though. There's just a difference. There's a difference between the constant, search for that next thing and that next thing and that next thing, thinking that you're just waiting for this one thing to get you the peace of and everything like that. You keep striving, and it never is satisfied, right? But then on the flip side, living in contentment in whatever situation you're in, and allowing God to lead you and guide you, and allowing God to like take care of the vengeance and all that different type of stuff. It's like it's a totally different way to live. I don't know. And I don't think, again, I'm saying anything that revolutionary, because I feel like a lot of people have come to that, those conclusions in life, or I mean, it's biblical. All of this is in his word in regards to, hey, when you handle things this way, this is how it is. If you handle things that way, that is how it is. And so, I mean, hey, I'm just another person just humbly sharing it here in 2023. But anyway, let's keep going. So then we got Proverbs 8:17. It says, I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently find me. There you go. I mean, I know it does feel like God is this hidden God, like, oh, because we can't see and all this type of stuff. We're like, oh, he's hidden. Why is he hiding himself for us? Like, X, Y, and Z. But on the flip side, again, it's just, again, as you seek him, you will find him. As you, again, doing it with your whole heart and everything like that, it's like you don't have to see to know, because him on another level. But I mean, hey, I don't know. Everybody got to go through their own journey with that and stuff. But I mean, that's what the words say. Those who seek me diligently find me. Psalm 27:8, it says, you have said, seek my face. My heart says to you, your face, Lord, do I seek. I hope that everybody made this their prayer today. Again, instead of running away from the Lord and hiding from the Lord and things of that nature, run towards him, seek him, so you can find him and be at peace. And I mean, I guess that's the juice this morning, y'all. That's the juice. Hide and seek. Y'all can go deeper. Plenty of verses in the go deeper section for you guys, again, to peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. But the Bible verse of today is 1 Corinthians 13:4. It says, charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. There you go. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice. I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing, and sharing all those wonderful things. Friends, I greatly, greatly appreciate you guys supporting in any aspect. Like I said, I was thankful to get that testimony regarding my sister, and I hope that it encourages you and inspires you and whatnot. If y'all know her personally and things like that, show her some love, I'm saying, keep her in prayer and whatnot as well. No plans really for today, just some conversations I need to have and whatnot. Outside of that, I was thinking about maybe I'll be more intentional today about like playing with my little guy or something. Like, maybe I'll go build something with him or whatever. Or play cards or something. It's just totally different, like with him, because we're there all the time, and like I'm sure he would play with me all day, you know what I'm saying, versus like when I would entertain other kids, it was like you only see them for a couple of hours or whatever. So it's a totally different thing to be a parent, and stuff. But like I don't mind having cute moments like that with him. It's just I guess I had to be more intentional about it because my mind be, of course, all over the place with everything I have going on and stuff. But I'm excited. I'm excited about the different things. Like I said, I'm happy to get the report about my sister. I'm excited for the weekend coming up. And as that weekend comes up, that means more announcements are coming. So that's another thing as well. I'm excited about the new client and her book and whatnot. And yeah, man, we're gonna see what the Lord do about all of these things. But to God be the glory for all things. And yeah, I hope y'all have a magnificent Monday. If the Lord's will, I will be talking to y'all tomorrow. Bye bye.